Yes. It's another beautiful day, wonderful evening. This is impactmasters podcast in collaboration with Africa Stocking Podcasts, coming to you live and direct at Africa Stocking headquarters. And today, it's your host, Michael Kimathi, or if you want, MK. Coming to you today is one and only the tech gurus themselves. There are two of them today. These are the movers and shakers of Africa, and I'll tell you why in a bit. In the house, we have Tesh Mbaabu. Tesh is an African serial technology entrepreneur who lives to blend commerce and technology. He is the co-founder and CEO of MarketForce, a B2B commerce platform that empowers over 200,000 neighborhood merchants across 5 African markets to source, order and pay for inventory, access financing, and earn more by reselling financial services in their communities. Talk of kiosk, he is a partner at Mesozi, an information technology holding company offering and investing in tech-enabled solutions across several industries and markets in Africa. As an avid adventure seeker, Tesh also co-founded Cloud9 XP, an African leisure experience booking platform which exited to HotelOnline in 2020. I don't know how much it is though, but we're gonna get into that. Prior to founding Mesozi, Tesh was the founder and creative director of a graphic, web and digital design agency, Tesh Technologies Limited, TeshTeq, a venture he started at the age of 18. How old is he? Through his personal blog, he shares about his journey as a technology entrepreneur, the adventure he undertakes, the people he meets, the book he is reading, and what he is learning. This guy can tweet. I follow him myself. Tesh is a Forbes Africa 30 under 30. Ponder about that. A Choiseul 100 Africa Laureates. Business Daily top 40 under 40 men Kenya. CIO Africa top 45 most influential men in digital transformation. Top 10 Africa Business Heroes, Harambean, Schmidt Futures, Westerwelle, Alibaba, and UN Fellow. Chief, how old are you? He is a graduate of computer science from the University of Nairobi, the one and only, the University of Nairobi. And today, we have Mesongo calling Sibuti. I don't know why he dropped Collins though. We're going to get into that a bit. A forward-thinking techpreneur, specializing in the design, development, and scaling of technology-enabled platforms with a special interest in the field of B2B services and last-mile delivery. I have spent the last 5 years, that's what he says, building e-commerce and banking solutions for neighborhood stores who contribute about 80% of retail transactions in Africa, that is MarketForce. And it goes without saying he's a CTO at MarketForce. Guys, how are you? How are you guys?
Very good.
You good?
Very good. Oh, yes.
You good to be here?
Oh, yes.
Nice. Welcome at Africa Stocking Podcast in collaboration with impactmasters Podcast, where we showcase, we celebrate African entrepreneurs, especially in tech, because for us, tech is the big game changer in the environment of 54 countries across the continent. And you guys have done wonders, I would say. So you want to say hi to our listeners, introduce yourself. Maybe I didn't represent you well.
Thank you for having us on board. Very happy to be talking to you, given that, we've known each other, from back in the campus days in the University of Nairobi.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very happy to see that we are still shaping the narrative.
Yeah.
Really excited to be on the podcast today. Mm-hmm. Very proud technology entrepreneur, and a former villager that is still transforming. So I would say a living testimony on what technology can do to all the villagers out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you consider yourself a villager, and I like that, by the way, because you'll start from all the way back. But I would love Tesh to say hi to our listeners. And,
Thanks, Michael, for having us. It's good to be here, and for the first time, Mesongo and I are sharing a platform. So thanks for making that happen. It's very few people who can get us to do that, and testament to the relationship we've had for many, many years, stemming back from the university.
It's my pleasure, man. It's like an honor. Yeah, I'll say that.
Thank you, MK.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tesh. Although, guys are hearing us saying all the way back from the campus days. I know these chiefs when they were still in school, and they were like these guys who, okay, if we go back, I would like us to start from all the way back, but maybe to give the context is I knew Tesh by asking me to help him strategize the campus politics.
Yes.
And then I came to know Collins when they were doing, is it Mesozi? Or Mesozi was not yet there?
It was Mesozi.
Plus TeshTeq,
Yes.
Right? The chief had a shop in town selling amazing stuff, and also, doing what you can do best as a student and also as an entrepreneur. And it came all the way to where we are. But we'll get to where we are right now. I want us to go all the way back even before campus. Chief, where did you come from? Mesongo.
Yes, Mesongo. I was born and raised in a place called Kuria.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a minority tribe at the edge of Kenya, just off the Masai Mara, at the border of Kenya and Tanzania.
Yeah.
That's where I was born and raised, essentially.
Yeah.
The reason you had me calling myself a villager is because, the time that I first stepped into a city, because Nairobi was in 2011 for my campus.
Same here. Yeah. So how was that like in primary school, how was that like?
Yeah, so I would say like, for me growing up really, is I grew up in an environment where, I knew and actually believed that education is going to be my savior.
Yeah.
That was the starting point.
Yeah.
And over time, of course, I grew up to rediscover myself and then go into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't say I was born an entrepreneur.
Okay.
To best describe it, I grew into entrepreneurship.
So you're this guy who knew that if I don't get an A, I'm doomed. I either get a few livestock here and there, cattle, and maybe 3, 4, 5 wives, and follow the path of my traditional ancestors. Why was it so important for you to make it out of that place?
I think the simple word for it is you just don't know what you don't know. Because growing up, everybody's always motivated by being able to create value.
Yes.
In some way or another, because that gives you a distinction as an important member of society.
Yeah.
Now, based on the environment where you actually do grow up, that distinction is always different. What do you consider an important member of society?
Yes.
So, because in the community where I grew up, most of the people were either, subsistent farmers and livestock keepers, and then everybody else who was a little bit educated. So you're either a teacher here, you're a doctor, you're an engineer, which is just the umbrella for anything engineering, including welding.
So if you're a guy of Chomelea, for those who speak Swahili, which is a widely spoken language in Africa, if you're a welder, you're called an engineer. And one of our biggest politicians is referred to as a welder.
I know.
Yeah.
So that, was the distinction of being an important member of society.
Yes.
So, and then, living so far in the end of Kenya, it was actually, interestingly, going to university and when people those days talked about going to university, it had to be the University of Nairobi.
Of course, there is no other university until today. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a controversial debate, but that was considered one of the ways of actually traveling.
Yes.
Is just going to the university, getting to the university.
Yeah.
So you can see how important it was to actually make sure that you succeeded and got into.
Very nice.
University.
And was it easy, getting those A's, passing your KCPE?
I mean, in hindsight, not the hardest thing that I have had to do.
So you keep discovering odd things to do.
Not the hardest thing I've had to do. It wasn't always easy, of course, but I think there are harder things in life.
And we'll get to those things as a CTO and even as a person, right? Yeah, Tesh, how was it for you?
Yeah, mine is quite a different story.
Yeah.
So I was born here in Nairobi. My parents came from the village, but made themselves in Nairobi. So
self-made parents.
Yeah, they've done pretty well from themselves in the sense that coming from an upper middle class family. I grew up in a very good environment where I didn't miss food or school fees or anything. So, and my parents have been very supportive in the sense that they build a lot of confidence in me from early on because they allowed me to be whatever I wanted.
Yes.
That made me dream a lot.
Bigger.
Ever since I was in primary, I mean, one day I could wake up and say I want to be a footballer. And, I know of many Africans would say, you tell your parents that. Your parents
are you crazy or what?
Yeah, they tell
you get a beating.
Exactly, get serious, My parents were quite the opposite in the sense, I want to be a footballer, okay, do it. You want to be a musician, okay, do it. You want to be a doctor, do it. So I grew up with that mindset that I can be
anything you want to be.
Yes. And I think that was it's a privilege, to be honest, because not many people have that kind of opportunity to dream. And I think that's what led me into entrepreneurship. So that together with the fact that my mom was an entrepreneur, and at the time I didn't realize how much the environment you're in sort of creates the opportunity for you to it leads you into a certain direction. So I never knew anything like how employment works, etc. Because my mom was a businesswoman, so that's what I saw. And later I realized that's probably how I ended up just knowing I wanted to go into entrepreneurship even before I finished high school. And I knew I was going to study whatever I'll study, but the goal was to go into entrepreneurship. So that's been why I grew a few minutes outside Nairobi.
Where is that?
In a place called Ngong.
Ngong,
Yeah, and I went to a local school. I used to walk to school.
Which school is that?
It's called Calvary Baptist Academy.
Private school, right?
It's a private school.
Okay,
I went to a private...
From nursery, kindergarten to all the way?
All the way to class 8. I went to one school. I went to one high school called Mutungoni Academy. That River, small private school. Then I landed in the University of Nairobi, and that's where I met...
You met this chief?
This guy in first year.
You met the villager.
You met the villager, like this villager. Chief, what is that one thing that you remember from primary school days? Either good or bad? Actually, good and bad.
Man, I growing up in the village is pretty interesting, but I do not always view... I mean, sometimes I see like in media, some of those things are considered bad. But I don't think that any of my experiences there was really bad. It was just
what
different.
Is that? What is that?
So for example, my mom passed on at when I was quite young. So I lived with my grandparents. One of my regular practices, so I used to be the bell ringer.
That means you are well disciplined. From my school days, a bell ringer was a very disciplined person. They are always on time. They're always passing the exams. It's like an example, like this guy can keep time, right? And time is the most precious thing at that age. And I think at any given age before anything else becomes important. So yeah, that tells a lot.
Yeah, so one of the, my regular practices was actually I would ring the bell and be out of class, ring the bell, run all the way to home to put on the fire to cook lunch. So you remember in primary school, you used to leave for lunch at 12:40 and needed to be back to school at 2 p.m.
Okay, 1:30 or 2 p.m.
Depending on where you went to school. So, for us, I think there was a consideration because most people used to do long distances of walking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for those who are thinking about long distance, this is the perfect example. Because if you have to leave at 12:40, and I know where you come from, people run.
Yeah.
That tells
you
how
I actually used
far
to
that
run
is.
all the way home.
How many kilometers, if you don't mind?
It wasn't far, maybe 5 kilometers.
You go 5 kilometers all the way, ring the bell.
No. So it's ring the bell, go 5 kilometers, put up the fire, have my grandmother cook, eat, back 5 kilometers, ring the bell for guys to come back to class.
Did you sleep in school?
No.
But how did you ring the bell and then go to light the fire? You had to go.
That's the lunchtime bell. So of course in the morning it's easier. It's one way, right? You go to school and then ring the bell.
I get it. Oh, I thought it's in the morning. I was like, this chief.
The interesting experience was for the lunch. So I used to ring the bell for all
guys to go for lunch.
No, it's all through. When you're a bell ringer, you're a bell ringer. So you ring in between the lessons, break time, lunch time. But for me, the one that was challenging was the lunchtime one, because you had to ring the bell for guys to go for lunch, run home, put up the fire, have your lunch.
Then go back before everyone else is there.
Before. So one thing I came to realize that I'm trying still to, work through is I eat pretty fast. By any standard up to date. And I can eat very hot food. But that is just,
from that experience.
Yes, it's adaptation.
How long do you spend for your lunch, like eating?
I haven't gotten really good at it.
5 minutes,
I always
10 minutes?
eat while doing something else.
Okay.
I eat while
also
having
eat
a
fast,
meeting
but I don't know. Now that you have said it, it's just clicking my mind. Maybe that's why. Because I had the same experience of, I didn't ring the bell, but I had that experience of running home, eating and coming back, but we didn't have so much time, so we had like 40 minutes or thereabout. And the school was like 3 kilometers away from home. Yeah, which is a long distance for a young guy. So now I will not consider it really long, but
it's a pretty standard, I think, experience for most people in the outskirts of the country.
Exactly. You know, a guy in Nairobi who is going to primary school. This might sound like, what? Because in the morning the bus is there, and in the evening the bus drops you at your door. Yeah. So this is very important. Actually, it might sound like it's not.
I really pity them actually, because that experience is exciting.
And you work out actually without working out, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for it. It just comes in. Chief, what was the experience for you? Bad or good?
It was great. I think what I really loved my primary school, because I'm a very passionate person.
Yep.
So anything I dig into, I do it with all my heart. And for me, primary school was all about football. I played football all the time. Lunch break, so for us guys, it was a private school, so there was food in school. Yeah. But we would eat quickly, go play football the whole lunchtime. In the evening
before
after classes, play football.
Did you go home or you boarded?
I went home throughout primary, and then I boarded in high school.
Okay.
But for me, primary was all about football. I ate, dreamt, everything football. Saturday I would spend the whole day. I would come. In fact, my parents, we used to have issues every night, because I would come back at the dark, and my mom would ask, "How are you guys seeing the ball?" Because we would play till it gets dark. So that was my primary school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so, and I really enjoyed it, and I love football today. I still watch football. I still play football once in a while. Yeah.
So there was no bad experience for you? Not even a chick that you said hi to and like,
No, not really. I mean, there's definitely a lot of experiences. I went to mixed schools as well, both in primary and high school. But I'd say generally a lot of learning experiences, especially learning how to interact with people and deal with people.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think the other thing that came out was leadership, because in primary I was captain of the football team for school. I was a captain for football in high school as well.
Yeah.
Ended up being a class prefect at some point, but mine was for the opposite reason.
Yeah.
I used to be a noisemaker, so the teacher decided the only way to make you not make too much noise is we make you the prefect, so that you're looking at other noisemakers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it worked really well, but
Always send a thief to catch thieves.
exactly.
Yeah. And I think even I don't know, in computing there's an algorithm that actually expresses that in a better way. Yeah. If you remember game theory.
Yes,
but Tesh, this is for you. Having coming from that, upper middle class, right?
Yeah.
There's so much even right now that people tend to overlook the fruits of hard work, right?
Yeah.
And some guys just say, you know what, I have everything figured out and just relax. For you, why was it different? Like you felt like I need to create my own future. I need to put my best foot forward from day one.
Yeah. So I think there's something intrinsic, in the sense of at some point there's a switch that flipped, because all through into high school, I had anything I needed, right?
Yeah.
But then I got to a point where I was thinking about, okay, how is my life? What my life meant to be?
Yeah.
And I realized very quickly, also in high school, that whatever I had was because of the hard work of my parents. Because my dad used to sleep with goats, and he would tell us these stories all the time.
When growing up.
About how hard his childhood is, and education was the only path for him, and he ended up becoming a professor. So he studied up to the highest level he could, and because he knew that was his path. And I think at some point I just got thinking about what does the future hold for me, because I'm not going to be reliant
on my parents.
But more importantly is my parents let me be a kid when I was a kid. But it got to a point when I was getting now into right before, I think it was in Form 4, my dad sat me down and told me, it's your grades that will determine which university you go to. Number one. And number two is you will have to determine your own destiny, because as when you hit 18, which was about to hit 18, you're an adult, and your mother and I will not be taking care of you anymore. And there was a flip.
That's the moment. This is the time now I need to work on myself and work for what I want to create.
And that's exactly what happened, because when I was enrolled into computer science, my dad told me to go and look for a place.
You went and looked for this place yourself.
He told me go look for a place.
Now you have the grades. Find the school that you want to go.
Find a school and also find a place to live. You're an adult now. So
I think that's the best dad.
And
if you ask me,
I really appreciate it, because now it was like you've nested enough. It's time now to go and start looking for.
So you didn't feel like you're getting kicked out?
No, not at all. Not at all. I was excited to move. I've always been, quite. I'd call it. I think I'm born a hustler, because even straight out of high school, I started doing business here and there. I remember in high school I used to sell stuff in school as well.
Mandazis, biscuits.
Exactly.
Books.
So
did you sell books and pens?
They've known me as a hustler all through. So So
okay,
that's been my journey.
Nice. For you, Chief, you found your own way. You grew into it. Like there was no moral compass, there's no guidance. You I want to get out of this. How was it?
Yeah, interesting. But I just wanted to mention something about the question you asked, Tesh, and what I've seen over time. For me, and one of the reasons I have so much respect for my partner here is because I believe that it's actually people think that having some sort of privilege is easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's actually hard
Yeah.
to have the fire burning in you
Very
with
true,
some
yeah.
privilege
Yeah.
when, you know, when you kind of have something to fall back on rather than
When there's
you know,
nothing.
when there is nothing.
Yeah.
I always feel like when there is nothing, it's actually an unfair advantage because
Yeah.
you have the matchbox
Yes,
to light
yes,
up
yes.
the fire.
Yes, yes.
But you can imagine somebody like Tesh who has some privilege, he has to make the fire.
For sure. And,
know?
he had made that fire. Yeah.
And he has
Yeah.
made that fire.
Yeah.
So I always feel like it's actually harder to find, you know, that innate, you know, power in yourself
Yeah.
to be motivated to
Yeah.
want things for yourself
Yeah.
when there is nothing pushing you. Because
Yeah.
remember, comfort
Yeah.
is a big enemy.
Yeah, breeds contempt.
It's content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you, you feel like it was necessary.
Yeah.
There was no,
So-
if you hear these things, it was necessary. Like if this doesn't work, there is no other way. And
No, you don't even think of it not working.
Yeah.
You always
Like it
think
has
of
to work.
something having to work.
There's no option.
Yeah.
There is no option.
There's no-
Anything has to work.
Yeah.
But yeah. So for me, of course, growing up, mostly what I did, you know, apart from school, was cattle grazing. I was lucky to then, you know, inherit most of the cattle from my grandfather. Going
So,
into
but now even this changes the, the conversation. So you already had some cattle. You know, cattle in that place is big thing, right? Yeah.
I had cattle.
Like how many of them?
and I considered myself a rich guy. Yeah, so I think so it's cattle, goats. When he passed on, maybe around 60. But unfortunately lost. They were then stolen.
Okay. Okay.
At
By
some
the raiders
point.
or
Yeah, by the raiders.
all of them?
All of them. Everything.
What?
Yes.
At that young age?
No, I was
Or
in
afterwards?
campus that time
Oh,
actually
okay,
when I had just received
The inheritance.
the inheritance.
And did you receive it after someone died or you
It's
just...
my grandfather passed on.
Oh, and he said this is
Yeah.
Mesongo's.
These ones have to go
Inheritance.
to the guy who was taking care of them.
I see. So you had to take care of both of them or just your grandmother?